Central. I'm your host, Deep Mahmood, and normal co-host Hunter. And we're going to have a short episode today. It's going to be some Ravens Steelers news, some NHL hockey, some other news as well, and then we'll recap Virginia Tech softball and baseball. So let's talk Ravens Steelers. Let's go with Omar Khan being promoted. What were your thoughts on that one?
Yeah, I was definitely a bit surprised. I thought it was Brandon Hunt all the way, but no, they're going with the person who they believe can lead this team into the future. I mean, and Khan has been there for decades now. He's always been their salary cap guy. I thought it was a good move to bring in Andy Weidel from the Philadelphia Eagles to be his right hand man. And they also, I believe, they promoted Dan. I think one of the think Art's son or something to one of the other pro scouting coordinator, and then another assistant general manager was promoted. Um, you know, I'm fine with it. I think he's going to do a good job. I know, he doesn't have a lot of pro scouting experience, but that's the scouts can do that stuff for you. And Weedle, he was the director of player personnel at the Eagles. He obviously knows how to evaluate players. I think that them two are going to be a good dynamic duo. Khan said, they're going to use everything they have in order to evaluate players. They said they're going to be in on analytics and stuff. So that's always good to hear. But, at the end of the day, they went with someone who they know, which is what the Steelers do a lot of times. They still brought in someone from outside the organization. That was a very good idea. And I know they lost Brandon Hunt in the process. I think he took a big-time job with the Eagles. I think he's going to be Howie Roseman's right-hand man out there. But it finally came to an end, and I'm glad it's not Doug Whaley. He did not do a good job with the Bills. But Khan, it's a safe, but it's a good pick, and he said he's been waiting a long time for this opportunity, and I think Kevin Colbert's still going to be with the team in a very revised role. So, we'll have to see how he does at the draft and signing players and all that. But definitely, I'm fine with it, especially when they went outside the organization and got someone to help them.
Yeah, I mean, my thought is always if you want to know how a leader is going to lead, always look at their strengths before they got the job and they got the promotion. And Omar Khan, like you mentioned, you said that he was their salary cap guy. He's their more numbers guy. It's not going to be quite Moneyball.
Yeah.
But it's gonna be pretty interesting. But I think that is it fair to assume that the Steelers aren't going to be outspending teams like the Rams or any of these other teams or making and then the other part is, do you think they're going to be actively in these big trades, trading multiple draft picks, or are they going to do more what the Ravens are doing, where it's going to be analytically friendly? They're going to go and find these value deals. They they might try to trade down, try to take advantage of that third, fourth round talent pool. Do you think that's how Omar Khan's going to try to run things, or do you think they're going to be a bit more aggressive than that?
I think it is going to be similar to what the Ravens did when they brought in, um, oh,
When they promoted
yeah,
DeCosta.
when they brought in DaCosta over, almost. Well, I don't know why I'm forgetting his name, but Ozzie Newsome, right? Yeah. Um, I think it's going to be similar to that. They're going to find these value deals. I know Kevin Colbert spent a lot of money in free agency this year because they had a lot of cap space to spend. And if they do have that in the future, I do think the Steelers will be able to spend a little bit of money in free agency. But I think right now they're going to look for those bargain deals. They're going to do what they've been doing with, drafting the best player available in the draft. And, I don't think you're going to see too many changes. Could there be a few more trades? Sure. This team doesn't usually trade down in the draft very often under Kevin Colbert. Could that change under Omar Khan? Sure. Maybe he'll have a different philosophy with that kind of stuff. Could his approach to certain things change? Sure. Yeah. I mean, DaCosta, I'm sure, has maybe a few different views than what Ozzie Newsome
A
did.
few different changes, but he kind of, because you got to remember DaCosta started as an intern with the Ravens, so he's been with the Ravens since 1996, getting coffee and being the chauffeur, and before becoming a scout and a college and the director of player personnel. So DaCosta, what he's done is basically followed in what Ozzie Newsome has done, but maybe it's more a combination of what Ozzie Newsome has done and bit Moneyball, where you build out the analytics department and you find those undervalued positions. So other teams are going to go in and invest, and this will lead into the what the Ravens did this week. But while other teams go out and say, you know what, we need to get more receivers because the rest of the league's doing that. The Ravens are like, okay, great, you're going to go get receivers, but you're going to leave this undervalued market in the secondary, and we're going to go take advantage of that, and we're going to go and get guys who can go and stop your receivers. So it's sort of like, yeah, so it's kind of like where others zig, the Ravens will zag, and that kind of leads me to my next point, to the Ravens discussion. They went out and signed Kyle Fuller to a 1-year deal. They haven't announced the terms, but I believe some people are claiming that it's a 1-year contract up to $5 million. So it's probably like a $2 million base or something like that. I think it's a solid move because
I know he
he
wasn't that good last year, right? Or he like kind of
yeah,
went down a little bit.
he was benched, but then he came back, handled it like a pro. But here's the thing: Kyle Fuller is going to be replacing Tavon Young. He is going to be that Tavon Young, the guy who like the corner that blitzes off the edge, or the third corner, the slot corner. Humphreys and Peters are going to be your 1 and 2, and even then, you look at the safety room. Uh, it seems like you're going to have Marcus Williams and Kyle Hamilton kind of being your center fielders and kind of using two free safeties instead of a strong safety and a free safety. Well, maybe Hamilton will play the strong safety role occasionally, but you got two, like in baseball terms. Let me put it this way: last few years, the Ravens safeties were corner outfielders. This year, the Ravens have their two main safeties are going to be center fielders. Like, does that make sense? Like, you
Yeah.
had two center fielders versus two corner outfielders. That's basically their safety look. Chuck Clark looks like he's still on the team. He reported for OTAs. He could still get traded. We'll see what happens. Obviously, June 1st is coming up, so that is going to we'll see what happens then. But they can still keep three safeties. Chuck Clark could still be an offside linebacker if you need him to. And I like the fact. I'll get back to Kyle Fuller, but what I like about them keeping Chuck Clark's not great when it comes to creating turnovers. Like this guy had almost 3 or 4 interceptions, like at least 3 or 4 interceptions last year. But he doesn't need to be that guy anymore. You got Marcus Williams, you got Marcus Peters coming back, Kyle Fuller's there, Kyle Hamilton is there. Chuck Clark's great at reading the defense, organizing it, and then being a sound tackler. Now he can be in that box safety role. Just put him in the box, read the offense, organize the defense, and then make the play. So you're now putting Chuck Clark in a better role. But speaking of one Hokie, let's go back to the other Hokie, which is Kyle Fuller. So Kyle Fuller, he's going to be he's what Brandon Carr one day. Remember when they signed Brandon Carr a few years ago? He was like this, like no one really thought, he was going to make a difference, and he made more of a difference. He's going to be like that third corner. If he's your third corner, you got a good secondary. But even then, you look at what else they have. Jalen Armour Davis was a guy who was pretty good at Alabama. Pepe Williams, he's going to be pretty good. Brandon Stevens. These are all young players. Kyle Fuller is also young, a veteran, so it's nice to have more veteran experience. But you do have all those guys that you can mix and match, and so I can't wait to see what and also you got like Dax Hill, like a guy like Dax Hill that Mike McDonald used at Michigan. You have to imagine like if Brandon Stevens can fill that role, Kyle Hamilton can fill that role someplace, Kyle Fuller can fill that role. So it's gonna be really curious to see what they do. I can't wait to see that. And also, if you have a good secondary can only help your pass rush because now if the quarterback now has to think 1 or 2 seconds more on where to go. Well, now look at their pass rush. You have Ajabo coming back. They put in the unrestricted free agent tender thingy on Justin Houston. Tyus Bowser is coming back. Like he is participating in OTAs after the Achilles injury, which is incredible. What was it? Dalen Hayes. They have pieces there. They went out and got Vince Beagle from the Dolphins, who's kind of like a hybrid inside outside linebacker, and then David Njoku is going to be coming back. I like in like October. I like the athleticism they have at the pass rusher. I like the versatility they have in the secondary, which is only going to help the pass rushers in general. And then when you have this team by the end of the year, hopefully with David Ojabo healthy, now you got Ojabo on one side, Adafe on the other, Calais, Matabike, mix and match the other pieces you have with the secondary. I think the Ravens did a very good job of building this defense really well, and it can only help the offense because now you're increasing the probability of creating a turnover, with how each like the three facets of the defense are kind of working together. Now that's going to help out a lot. So we'll see we'll see what they do. I really did like seeing Lamar clap back at Chris Sims. Basically,
I think I did see that. I did.
He basically said Lamar's going to be Lamar. Lamar referred to himself in third person. I'm going to be there. He's been working with another coach, Adam Dedeaux, on his quarterback mechanics. So it's not it's like I think he's not one of the big ones. He's not Jordan Palmer, but I think Dedeaux's someone good. Rashad Bateman pretty much said it's my time to be the number one receiver. I'm going to miss Hollywood Brown, but he's ready to take responsibility. So it's going to be pretty interesting. So we're going to see from there, and then from the other NFL news, Brown signed David Njoku to a $56-57 million deal. In comparison, Mark Andrews is getting paid less. Dallas Goedert, Travis Kelce.
It's just hilarious. I mean, doesn't he? I don't even think he has 1,000 receiving yards for his career.
Yeah,
wait. 1,000 on that. Excuse me. That's my fault. I don't think he has a 1,000-yard season for his draft. I'm gonna pull this up here.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't.
Yeah. The best season he had, 630 yards, 4 touchdowns, and 56 receptions. Ever since then, 41 yards in 2019, got hurt. 2020, 213 yards. Last year, not even 500 yards. And you're giving that guy all that money?
Mark Andrews has 3 years with more passing yards. Mark Andrews has 3 years with more total yards than that. He has 3 years with more touchdowns than that. And Mark Andrews is getting paid less. Thank goodness they paid him.
Here's this. Last year, Pat Freiermuth, first year, 500 yards, 7 touchdowns, 60 receptions. Just saying.
With the remainder of Big Ben at quarterback. I mean, that's like he could do. Freiermuth could do a lot more than 500 yards.
Yeah, it was 497, but I rounded up basically 500. And that was literally with a noodle-armed Big Ben last year. I don't really understand that contract at all.
And how much? Hooper and they paid Hooper 14, 13 million. Like it's gonna be really weird. It's gonna be really weird seeing the Browns. I don't know what they're doing. Brown's got a Brown, and we don't know if Deshaun Watson is going to how long Deshaun Watson is going to be suspended for. So let's go on to the MLB news. Jock Peterson, and what were your thoughts on that story?
Oh man, I mean, just what a weird story. Like you're punching someone because someone talked crap about your fantasy football team? Is that I'm pretty sure I have that right.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I'm trying to. I saw the tweet here. Yeah, he slapped Jock Peterson. It was suspended for 3 games because lingering resentment from a rule regarding IR designation and their fantasy football league spilled over into real life and led to his attack. Am I in another dimension or something right now? How are you that mad about something in fantasy football that you have to get yourself suspended when you're punching someone? What's wrong with you? It's just, I mean, I honestly thought it was like a weird Barry tweet from that Adam Schefter, Ian Rappaport burner account that always likes to just be an idiot on Twitter.
Yeah, I didn't get that at all. I mean, I did not understand. I don't understand this story at all. It's like you can't get too mad at this. You can't get too mad at fantasy football. Like I don't understand that one. Other ones, Matt Carpenter has signed with the Yankees. He looks really weird now without the beard because obviously the Yankees have that facial hair policy. That policy is so dumb.
It's so stupid.
I saw Rougned Odor. So here's the story. I was watching the Apple TV broadcast with the Orioles and Red Sox. So Rougned Odor, I think he played his like last 5, 6, 7 years. He had the beard, right? So this is when he was
Mhm.
with the Rangers. He goes to the Yankees. He shaves, right? So then his kids wouldn't even look at him because they could not recognize him without the beard. And apparently Matt Carpenter, he said a similar story. His kids couldn't even recognize him because he was so used to the beard. Like I just can't. I don't know. Like I know Dallas Keuchel's DFA. I really hope Dallas Keuchel doesn't go to the Yankees because if
Yeah,
he
that would
because
be
I
sad.
can't imagine Dallas Keuchel. What he looks like clean shaven.
It's like James Harden.
Yep, or Charlie Blackman. I can't like that. There's just certain players that you don't want to see clean shaven.
Exactly.
It's just weird. So let's move on. And also to note for the Orioles, they did win yesterday.
Oh,
Um,
and the Nats have won 3 in a row. That's the longest winning streak all year.
yeah, no, and I think I mean the Nationals, they're a rebuilding team. We'll see what happens if they trade players. I know the Orioles and Nationals play each other.
And Strasburg's about to be back, I think, in the next week. He's been doing rehab assignments, and he's very close to being activated, thankfully.
Yeah, and then with the Orioles, they they lost one. They played 1 out of 3. One out of 3 against the Yankees, but even then, like they lost what 3? I think one of the games was 3-2. The other game was 2-0. So you lose 2 games with a margin of 3 runs against one of the better teams in the American League. That's pretty good. The
Mm-hmm.
fact then yesterday they go out and play against Boston, who's been red hot offensively and then on starting pitching wise at Fenway, and they go down 6-0 at the end of the second inning, and then they outscore Boston 12-2 to win 12-8. I mean, I don't know what's more impressive, like them scoring, winning the game, or them holding the Boston Red Sox team, who's been averaging like what 7, 8 runs the last few games, to 2 in the last 7. I mean, that is, and it was a bullpen effort too. It wasn't even starter. It was like a bunch. It was bullpen arms as well. Like
Yeah,
so, that's just incredible to see. I mean, it's nice to see people now start to give credit to Baltimore, because now they're saying, oh, they're not a good team, but they're not as bad as we thought they were, and you can see the light at the end of the tunnel. Like that's where they
mhm.
were. I know Glenn Clark, who does a radio show in Baltimore. He brought up the idea of, could this 2022 team be, this Orioles team be like the 2012 Orioles team where they went 93-69. They won like 80% of their one-run games. I don't think that's the case. I think that's too much. That's too optimistic. I think they're more of the 2011 team that was 69-93. They were competitive in a lot of their games. They lost, but it was one of those things where you saw the building pieces there. It was just one more piece here or there, and then you can take a team that went from winning 69 games to 93 games. And then you saw in 2012 to 2016, I think they won the most games out of every American League East team in that span. So the Orioles are coming up. And they're coming up faster than you think. And then Grayson Rodriguez is not Grayson
I was going
Rodriguez.
to say the Nationals. They were the first team this year to shut out the Dodgers. It was freaking Eric Fede that got the shutout. So
But
they have
yeah,
that. They have that.
yeah,
We
they
keep it.
back. But it's like Grayson Rodriguez. He had a couple really good starts at AAA. 6 innings, 11 strikeouts, no walks, and then in 80 something pitches, like 86 pitches. And then you had yesterday he had a start where he went 7 innings, 10 strikeouts, no walks, 1 hit. So he's not just knocking on the door to the majors. He's almost kicking that door down.
Yeah,
And Grayson Rodriguez, don't be shocked if he makes his debut this week, because he's been pitching in the 80 pitch range. He's striking out, like he struck out 8 batters, at least 8 batters in his last 4 starts in each of them. This is a guy, he's going into the 6th inning. He's going into the 7th inning. He's thrown about 50 innings so far this year. It's only a matter of time before he gets to the majors. It's only a matter of time before DL Hall, who's been striking out 40% of his 40% of the batters, and this dude is a legitimate. This dude's a starter. He's a lefty that can throw 100. He's going to be in the majors by the end of the first half. I know Kyle Bradish had a bad start, but man, this rotation, this team is going to look a lot better, and there's going to be a lot of people eating their words about this Orioles team. They're not going to win. They're not going to get to the playoffs. They're not going to get to the division. I'm not going to go that far. But could this team get to that 70 to 75 win range, especially with the fact that 15 out of their 27, 16 out of their 28 losses so far this year was the loss today. They still have a game to play, but 16 out of 28 losses have been by 2 runs or less. And that's a sign of a good team. That's a sign of your team moving forward. Your culture is getting improved when over half of your games are 2 runs or it's 2 runs or less. And if you do 3 runs or less, it's probably closer to 75 to 80% of your games. So it's going to be fun to see. It's going to be fun to see that. Let's move on to Virginia Tech athletics. So basically, women's the Virginia Tech softball team lost today. Florida, they beat Florida yesterday, so there's a winner-take-all game tomorrow. Winner of that game is going to go on to the College World Series in Oklahoma City. And then Virginia Tech baseball lost to North Carolina, something like 10-0. But
they're already in the tournament, right, Eddie?
Yeah, they're already in. They're already in the tournament. They're more than likely going to be hosting a game. They're right now the second best team in the country ranked. So both softball and baseball they did lose a couple games recently, but they're still talented. They're still going to host a couple of games. And I mean, you're going to hear, and then I think
for the softball team to win that game tomorrow. I thought they looked like they were in position today. They were up 2-1, and then it all just went to crap.
Right, but yeah, I mean, seeing the softball team make the College World Series, I mean, that's gonna be incredible. Seeing Virginia Tech host its first NCAA regional since 2013. So that's going to be potentially doing that. I mean, they should, because I think they're the second best team in the country. But it's going to be pretty interesting. And then obviously when the draft comes around, Virginia, I know there's like 4 or 5 guys that could be drafted and within the first 5 rounds. So we're obviously going to be talking about that. So to end the show, let's just talk about NHL hockey. Hunter, what was the recap?
Yeah, so I mean, I hope everyone watches the Western Conference Final. Nathan MacKinnon is going to go up against Connor McDavid. Those are 2 of the 3 best players on the planet, in my opinion. The Avalanche, this is their first time in this situation since 2002 when they lost to the Red Wings that year. The year before that, they won the Cup. For the Oilers, it's the first time since 2006 that they're in this position. I did not think the Oilers would get here, but Connor McDavid has just willed that team to a berth in the Western Conference Finals. That's probably going to be electric hockey. For the Eastern Conference, so indeed, the Lightning, they are back in the Eastern Conference Final. They are 8 wins away from a 3rd straight championship that has not been done since the 80s. They will potentially play the winner of tonight's game. Well, not the winner of tonight's game. If Carolina does win tonight, they move on. They're 1 win away. If they don't, Game 7 will be played on Monday down in Raleigh, and the winner of that series will go play Tampa Bay. So we're getting to almost to the final. There's 5 teams left. We're getting pretty close here to the end of the playoffs. I mean, if Carolina wins tonight, these are the matchups: Carolina, Tampa, Colorado, Edmonton. All 4 are very fast-paced teams, all speed and skill. Those are probably going to be 2 of the best conference finals we've seen together in quite some time. And if we get potentially a Colorado-Tampa Bay final, or even Colorado-Tampa, Colorado-Tampa or Colorado-Carolina, that would just, again, probably be one of the best finals we've had in a while. So lots of fun stuff with the NHL right now.
Oh yeah, like playoff hockey, NHL, like playoff hockey is really fun to watch for sure. Like when I get a chance to watch it, I do watch it. It's just there's either a baseball game or a show I'm trying to catch up on sometimes where and I don't really have a lot of time to watch TV like after work and stuff. So like if I do have time, I will go and make an effort to watch hockey, and it's definitely more fun. NHL playoffs are really a lot of fun. Like they're more fun to me than the NBA playoffs.
Oh
like
yeah.
Yeah, they're more fun than the NBA playoffs. MLB playoffs, it's occasional, it's more regional. But yeah, like we'll end the show on that note. We'll see you guys next week around the same
Well,
time.
I will say this: Saturday, I have to. It's my dad's birthday, so the show
Yeah,
will have to probably be on
yeah,
Sunday.
that's fine. Sunday's fine.
Yeah. And then yeah, just for next week, and then I think I should be good for the next couple of weeks with that with Saturday.
Sure. Yeah, so we'll see. So we'll schedule. We'll be around next Sunday around in 3-4 o'clock in the afternoon. We'll see you there.
Yeah, we'll be back then. See you guys.